Now, we've talked about Boros enough. You, tell me about this red-white-black deck.
All right, this red-white-black deck is all the mid-range you can handle. I think it's possible that I believe this is the player who actually handed Ben Lundquist his loss.
Okay.
In the Swiss, he described losing to a deck that looked very similar. It has Boros Reckoners, has Doomblades, has Ultimate Price, has Mizium Mortars, has Hero's Downfall, has Anger of the Gods.
That one's no fun to play again.
Yeah, has a couple Whip of Erebos, and then when you move to the sideboard, there's more.
Okay.
we've got Dreadbores. We've got some wear and tears for things like the Spear. We have and Burning Earth, of course. We have Glare of Heresy in the sideboard.
Hater.
And Fourth Anger of the Gods and a couple Blood Barons to round things out. So I imagine a lot of those cards are currently in David's main deck. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he probably lost game one and won the second game based on that laundry list of destruction.
So I would not be surprised here to see Zakk on the play for game number 3, which is where he'd want to be anyway in the sideboarded games. Take a look at Zakk's sideboard really quickly here. You mentioned Burning Earth. Actually, none of them in the sideboard here. Ooh. He's got 2 Ajani Call of the Prides, a couple Fiendslayer Paladins, Glare of Heresies of his own, Dried Militants 4 from the sideboard, a couple Keening Apparitions, a Pithing Needle, and a Wear and Tear. So no Burning Earths here in his sideboard. And taking a look at the main deck, they're not there either. So he's gone without the enchantment.
He does have those extra glares, so he can answer Boros Reckoner perhaps a little easier than most people could. But I don't know. I would be very happy to be having Burning Earth in this particular matchup. It's one of your non-creature ways to win. Your opponent's filled to the gills with Doomblades. Yep. Non-creature ways to win are exactly what you're in the market for.
Yep. I agree with you. Mesa's going to keep. Malign's going to keep. We're underway. Soldier of the Pantheon. Protection from multicolor.
Yep, so that'll cover Dreadbore and Boros Reckoner. And to some extent Blood Baron, but that's about it.
Yeah. All right, so Temple of Triumph going to come into play. Moline going to keep his card on top, I believe. In for 2 we go. We'll see if Meza has a follow-up play. It's a Dried Militant. Does he have a land? Not good. Not good. Took a risk. Does not have a second land, so now he's kind of all in on these 2/1s for 1. Lion's going to play a Swamp. Looks like he's got Mizium Mortars. Actually a Doomblade there to take care of the Soldier. Meza draws a card. It's not a land. Going to come across for 2 more. He's got another play to make. It's another Dried Militant and passes the turn back. So Moline down at 16. Draws a Temple of Triumph for the turn. You see a red card in his hand. I know there's a Mortars hanging out there. I don't know if there's an Anger of the Gods, let alone if he can cast it yet. But that's the thing you have to fear the most if you're Meza.
Yeah, that's definitely a big problem with Zakk. He's going to try and get in under a lot of these removal spells, but if he gets in too far under, then an Anger of the Gods can just come along, mop things up, and leave him too far behind. Being restricted to playing 1 small threat a turn is really not where he wants to be.
Yep.
And you see David just happy to trade 1 for 1. Zakk's basically just casting shocks. And David doesn't mind trading with these shocks because once the game gets to a really later point, his cards are so powerful that any one of them can win the game pretty much by itself, and most of Zakk's won't be able to boast the same feat. Yeah,
this is exactly the way that Moline wants to play this game. If things keep going this way, it's going to be very difficult for him to lose. Meza does finally draw a second land. It is a Sacred Foundry, too, so that's a big deal here, as now comes down an Imposing Sovereign. So if Moline's plan was to play a Boros Reckoner, that's not going to work, but Anger of the Gods off the top, I think a card he kept with the Scry, is going to clear everything up here. So now Meza, again, has some real work to do, Glenn.
And, that wasn't the most incredible Anger of the Gods we've ever seen, but you just got to take those kind of trades, right? Yep. You just want your 2 for 1, keep the pressure off, keep a high life total, so you can cast one of your sweet spells that can just shut down everything.
Yeah, I mean, especially when they're tapped out, you don't want to open yourself up to getting Brave the Elements, to Boros Charm, any of that nonsense. If you have it, you take it, get your 2 for 1, keep moving. There's a Plains. This is a 5-mana spell. That's a Blood Baron of Escopa against a white deck.
Yep, you'll note that Zakk Meza's sideboard, what's different about it for most is that he has access to 0 copies of Mizium Mortars, right? I don't think he has any.
Yeah, didn't see any.
No Mizium Mortars, that's going to leave him behind.
Yeah, what that means is that Blood Baron is going to be good once it comes into play. So now there is a Johnny. It's going to pump up Precinct Cap, and he's going to pass the turn back.
That was an emphatic pass.
It was. That was emphatic.
Zack's got his game face on.
I said, Blood Baron, I don't care about that. I can beat that. I don't have mortars. I don't need anything to beat it. I'll just race it. We'll see if that's true.
Got a feeling that David would have to draw a lot of nothing here to fall to this.
2 mana. There's a Mizium Mortars. Nope, no Brave the Elements, so that's dead. think it's probably worth attacking a Johnny here. Yeah, knock that down to 1, gain 4 life, push yourself up to 18. You got an 18-18 ball game.
Yeah, David's not trying to close anything out quick. He can just take his time, basically, force Zakk to present something that's actually capable of winning the game. And it doesn't look like Zakk's going to be able to do that. Finslayer Paladin.
Yep. That's going to go here. So, again, doesn't have protection from red. Feels like it does, but it doesn't.
No. Yeah, Boros Reckoner still capable of effectively getting rid of it. He will probably be attacking the Ajani again, right? Dismantle the ability to go to the skies or to continue boosting the Fiendslayer Paladin.
Looks like the Blood Baron's going to go forward. And then the Blood Baron's going to go towards Zakk, and then the Boros Reckoner is going to go towards Ajani.
It's kind of interesting. I think I would have done it the other way, but
yeah, I think I would have too, because like, what this lets Moline do is say, all right, give my Boros Reckoner first strike, trade with your Fiendslayer Paladin, and then kill your Ajani.
Yeah.
Right. Which I think Moline is. I think he's thrilled with that.
Yeah. Zakk just lets it go. Good call on Zakk's part.
So you see after the dust settles, just Ajani goes bye-bye. Some life will be gained from Moline. And, you know, you mentioned that in order for Meza to actually kind of win this game, he would need Moline to brick a bunch. And I think that's actually really tough for David to do because, you know, from a lot of decks that are kind of mid-range like this, you kind of think maybe Jund from last season.
Yep.
They didn't have Scry lands. So if you're drawing lands, chances are you'll draw one of your 8 Scry lands to make it so that there's less likely that you actually do flood.
Yeah, and considering how redundant David's deck is, you know, it's basically all of his spells do pretty much the same thing. And as you said, those Scrylands help ensure that he just keeps getting them.
So we're going to see an attack here for a 7. Looks like Mutavault's feeling frisky. All right.
Does look to be getting frisky. It's going to block the Blood Baron.
Yeah. This is a Boros Charm giving double strike. That's what that is.
Ooh.
All right.
If this works, Zakk might be able to scrap something together here.
Yeah.
Like, get rid of it. Get rid of it. It's so dead.
Yeah. I killed it. I actually did it. Now, Malign's hand, he has an Anger of the Gods in his hand, and Anger of the Gods would actually kill both the creatures on board, and it would be kind of a top-decking game because Malign's hand is just lands.
Yeah, but Boros Reckoner doesn't match up favorably against this Fiendslayer Paladin right now.
Yep.
So it's kind of going to be interesting to see what he actually does.
I think he's going to cash it in.
Wow. I would think that'd be
Hold
a little bold.
Yeah.
I'd be much more interested in hoping to like score something like an Ajani or whatever. We can bide a little bit of time here. We actually have a number of cards that kill a Fiendslayer Paladin. Specifically, like an overloaded Mizium Mortars does the trick. We also could just, you know, draw another Blood Baron. Obsidat's a pretty big game. Like, there are things.
Wear Tear, not the biggest of games.
No.
Not the best. There's now Reckoners on defense, and Meza is going to draw a card.
He's feeling it now.
Yeah, he's trying to get back in here.
He's got the rush.
Yeah. All right, first strike damage. Brave the elements, my guy.
Looks like he's going to name red or white. I would name white. I feel like we're pretty safe from red, I'm just saying.
Kill your Reckoner, pass the turn back. Does name red. Pass the turn back. Ultimate price the draw here.
Oh, man. Zakk's feeling alive. You can feel the electricity just running
really
through him with every play. And David, now he cashes in that anger. He's had enough.
See, Wear Tear Ultimate Price in a land there in Malign's hand. So Mutavault is free to attack. Ultimate Price doesn't kill that.
No, it does not. Lining your removal up against your opponent's creatures in Standard is getting trickier and trickier.
Yes, it is.
Last week, Ultimate Price was the bee's knees. So this week, we see all these people with their Mutavaults. You're probably thinking, man, I really wish I'd been packing those stupid Doom Blades.
Yep. I mean, last weekend it was definitely right to be playing Ultimate Price.
Yeah.
That's for sure. There were so many people playing stupid Mono Black last weekend.
Imposing Sovereign might merit the Ultimate Price now before we cast our Boros Reckoner. Nope. Looks like we're just going to go with the Reckoner.
All right, that's into play tapped.
Yep. Is David probably content to just let his life total be his buffer here a little? He's like, yeah, I'll take a little extra damage. No big deal.
This is the Godless Shrine that Malign's going to hang on to yet again. So Mesa's going to draw a card. Looks like he drew a land for the turn. And I think, yeah, you fire up that Mutavault. You got to get every point of damage you can in there. Yeah, get in the red zone. Ultimate Price going to take care of that. And I'm with you. Like, if that, if that was your intention all along, then you play the Ultimate Price first.
Yeah.
And then you make it so the Reckoner comes into play untapped, and the Mutavault actually is just a brick. Doesn't do anything.
I agree. I would probably have been more keen on holding the Ultimate Price still. Because once the Boros Reckoner untaps, that Imposing Sovereign is no longer a threat. Here you open yourself up to a pretty good Brave the Elements or Boros Charm. Whereas otherwise, you know, Banisher Priest comes down to try and get the Boros Reckoner out of the way. You can save it with an ultimate price. Maybe you draw other removal to back yourself up. You got more options. I don't think the 2 damage mattered that much.
Sacred Fountain going to come into play tapped, and so we're in a racing situation here. A little 3-for-2 trade. Activate the Mutavault, going to come in for 2. So make it 14 all. Meza looks like he drew a Giant Militant for the turn, so he's going to play that and pass the turn back. So let's see what Moline draws on his turn. It's
Temple of Triumph, I think.
I think it was Whip of Erebos.
Whip of Erebos. Oh, man.
You're
right.
Yeah.
Oh, he's putting mana together. It looks like you might be right.
That's Bad News Bears. And that is Whip of Erebos.
Whip it good.
And that is a card that changes the landscape of this game in a big way. But we knew this is something that was very likely to happen because Moline's draws are so much better than Meza's right now.
Yeah.
His cards are just so much more high impact.
Keeps his Boros Reckoner on D. Oh, no, he wasn't done with the turn. I thought he passed.
Yeah.
It looks like that's not what he's doing. He takes a shock to get another red, and he's going to just get that Blood Baron in there and attack for 7.
Yep. So he's going to attack for 7. He's going to make it down to 7, but he's going to gain 7 life and go up to 19. Yeah. And the lifelink of Erebos is probably going to be the thing that puts this away finally. It would have been pretty improbable, I think, for Meza to win this game. I think a lot would have had to go right there.
Yeah, things started to look decent. I don't think they ever really looked great, but they looked even for a fair while there.
And now the sunglasses are on for Zakk. Yeah. And so we should have 14. We should have Meza down to 7 after all the damage just happened. 4 from the Blood Baron, 3 from the Minotaur and Boros Reckoner. So once these guys get everything clear, we'll have our life totals clear on the screen for you as well. Here comes Mutavault feeling frisky. Get in for 4. Put Moline down to 15. And out there's a Judge's Familiar.
How do you like Judge's Familiar in Standard right now?
I think it's like one of the worst cards in Standard. And I don't even think it's like close.
I think I'd rather be playing Druid's Deliverance, honestly. We saw it do a little work last match.
I'd rather just play a land than Judge's Familiar.
Zakk's like, Judge's Familiar game? No?
No, that's not game?
Not
Attack
game?
with Reckoners then?
No,
I will
no
block
concession
one of
to
them.
the bird?
Has Judge's Familiar ever countered a spell?
I should hope not.
I think the Judge's Familiar would be okay if the Wrath in the format wasn't Supreme Verdict.
Actually, I recall, I think it was Frank Lepore posting a Moto photo where he successfully got someone to pay the mana for Doomblading a Judge's Familiar. He sacked it and they paid the mana.
Very nice.
So that's actually better than countering the spell. That's a +1 on that.
Yeah, it feels like you won.
Still,
there.
it didn't counter the spell. So
no, it did not.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite do.
Because Judge's Familiar has never countered a spell, Glenn. That's why. See, Reckoner does come across there. 1 from the graveyard, 1 from the whip. And Brave the Elements, the draw here for Meza.
Well, Druid's Familiar, or not Druid's Familiar.
Druid's
sorry,
Familiar is actually a good Magic card.
Dryad Militant, not going to cut it here, it looks like.
Are you sure? A man with pink sleeves and pink sunglasses.
I admire that kind of color coordination.
Me too.
I had a very nice pink shirt I used to wear with pink sleeves until a Sharpie in the dryer took care of that.
Wow.
That habit.
Wow.
Not my Sharpie, I'll add.
That's
as far as I'll say.
That is a rough life that you live.
I know. I was so disheartened. It's been years since I could wear pink.
You just can't buy another shirt?
I couldn't bring myself the memories.
Pink shirts are more expensive than other shirts.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
Things have changed.
Yeah. They used to be cheaper, but then pink got trendy.
Did it? I never knew.
Were
I guess I was there first.
I was say, were you setting the trend? Like?
I guess I was. I got to be hipster Glenn for a few months there.
Must be so nice. I could see you with hipster glasses.
Could you?
No, I couldn't. I take it back. I couldn't. Dryad Militant is going into the not the red zone. No. What's the zone when it doesn't attack?
The tank?
Is it there should be a different place in the red zone.
Well, you emerge from the tank with an attack usually, or
Okay.
you emerge from the tank and pass turn. So I feel like the tank is the waiting room of the turn.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Temple of Silence going to keep a card on top with the Scry. Boros Reckoner, I'm going to attack you for lethal. At least I'm going to try to.
I have a feeling Zakk's going to block.
Expert analysis. Should bring in more often.
He does block, and it looks like he's considering playing the Brave the Elements in his hand to prevent Dvid from killing his Dryad Militant and from gaining 3 life. However, David will get to gain 2 life by dealing 2 damage with his Boros Reckoner wherever he likes. I imagine he'll target Zakk.
I imagine you're correct. That's going to go upstairs. Put you to 1, put myself to 23. And David says, pass the turn back. And Zakk is going to draw a card. Is it a miracle? He's going to slow roll for everybody at home. It's a Plains, and that's going to do it. So David Moline is going to win this match 2-1 over Zakk Meza. Dega Control defeating Boros. Moving on to 8-1 does Moline with the red, white.